Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my Umbral Khora build. Now you might be like, Flynn, you hate Khora. Like, if you've been watching my streams, you know that I absolutely despise this frame, and the reason for that being is because it takes so much effort to make this frame, like, near decent. It actually blows my mind. She's a cool frame in concept, and her abilities work, but just the amount of effort or the amount of resources that you have to invest to make this frame like really good, I just can't like force myself to recommend this frame to a newer player. Like, I can't say, oh yeah, pick up Khora, she's fun and she's cool and she's easy to use, right? Because it takes so much just to make her first ability deal like a decent amount of damage whenever you compare it to another frame like maybe Atlas, where Atlas's damage scales up a little bit better, and also you get other benefits on top of that, such as like the fact that you get armor, or even Gara, where you can use her abilities in conjunction with one another to make more damage happen on your 2 and your 4 by like exploding your 4 with your 1. So with those frames, there's other uses for the first ability, the damage dealing ability, the pseudo exalted ability, where with Khora, it's just the damage, right? It's just the damage that's there, and it takes a lot of work to get it up to scratch with those other frames. So I put a lot of time into making this build. I've also spoke to a lot of people about putting this build together. It's finally done. Took way too much forma. Regret all the time that I spent on it. But you know what? If you're a Khora fan and you want to copy this build, by all means, go ahead. So, I formatted this 9 times. You don't need to format 9 times. Just copy the polarities. So 3 dashes. No, how many dashes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dashes. A V, and then a Xeneric, and then a dash in the aura, and then the Umbral mods, okay? So, thought process behind this, a lot of power strength on here, so then your 1 actually deals damage. The 1 is the ability that I find myself using the most. The 2 and the 4 need a little bit of duration, but at the end of the day, I opted for not investing too much into my duration because I feel like I can kill the enemies super fast. Like, with Khora, I feel like you have to kind of want to be into like a super fast playstyle to want to play her and enjoy her to her maximum potential, right? It's all about keeping your abilities up, keeping enemies CC'd, and spamming your whip type of thing, and then also having Venari on to kind of complement that, right? So I stacked up all that power strength by using Augur Secrets, Umbral Intensify, Power Drift, Blind Rage, and then having Umbral Vitality on there to boost up Umbral Intensify further. I didn't want to throw on Fiber because, I don't know, I just didn't deem it as worth it. Like, I thought having the ability to cast more often or have a wider area of effect was more beneficial. So I have Streamline and Fleeting on so I can cast my abilities more efficiently, so it costs less energy. And that's to counteract Blind Rage over here. The one thing I find, I did have a build that had Transient Fortitude on here and Prime Continuity. I find myself, like, casting my first ability a lot, and with this build it actually worked out to have better efficiency than the other build that I was running, because I was only running Streamline on the other build, so it actually cost more rather than using Fleeting plus Streamline, which gives me, you know, my total efficiency right now, which is 135%. So more efficiency, more damage, which is a lot better, and I also have duration on top of that. So I completely dropped Transient, replaced it for Blind Rage, took off Prime Continuity, replaced that for Fleeting Expertise, and then out came this build. Stretch Assist on there for the CC effects, Prime Flow is on there for the energy sustain, because trust me, you're going to need a lot of it, because it takes a lot of casts to actually deal damage with this frame. And then Cruiser Projection is on here to obviously strip away armor, so you deal more damage versus those armored enemies, right? So, we're not done yet. Venari. This cat, I can't tell if it was worth investing 5 forma into this. I really can't tell. I don't know. I don't feel like it, but just having that tankiness on there, and also having Sharpened Claw, which takes away enemy armor, is really good as well. I really enjoy this mod, but other than that, like, everything else is just quality of life. Just throw in as much defensive mods as you can, and then other things to complement that, such as, you know, Hunter Synergy for more crit, you know, bite, etc., just to kind of make this cat better. 5 forma is a lot for a companion, so whether or not you want to do this is entirely up to you. You can completely neglect Venari, but if I'm gonna make a build video on it, I might as well go the full way, right? You know, I might as well show everything and show what I put together. But yeah, this is my Venari build. It's just keeping her alive and then having things to kind of complement my gameplay. Having her active at all times, like having her actually attack enemies, is beneficial because she's actually quite damaging, but she's not like one-shotting things, right? So you can either use her to damage enemies, you can use her to disarm enemies, but if you have another CC frame in your team, then completely neglect that, or you can use it to heal yourself. It's entirely up to you, to be completely honest. I don't find the healing, it's good, but it's not that good. You know, there's other frames in the game which can heal you to 100% super fast with a press of a button. So, I don't know, I just keep her on attack mode. I have her attack, and then that's kind of it. So, she's pretty decent for that, and of course she strips away that armor, so she's useful, you know, to a certain degree, and she's definitely a good companion, you know, I'm going to say that. We're not done yet. So your first ability is a Pseudo Exalted, and what that means is it's going to take the mods coming from your melee weapon, right? So the stats of the melee weapon don't matter, but what does matter is the mods, and because it's a Pseudo Exalted, it can take from the Riven mod that you have on. Now, it would be better if you use the Scanna or the Prisma Scanna for this, because it has a Riven disposition of 4, meaning you can get a better Riven with higher stats, right? So what I would suggest to look for in a Riven would be melee damage, critical damage, and an element for minus like combo duration or something, you know? That way you're going to be dealing a lot of damage, you know? You're just going to be stacking off that up. So those 3 positives, so melee damage, critical damage, and an element such as electric or toxin, and then having a negative to boost up the stats of the other things. So maybe even negative status chance. It's entirely up to you. Status chance is kind of a bad negative to have, but it doesn't really matter too much because we're focusing on the numbers here. So Prime Pressure Point is for your melee damage. Organ Shatter for your critical damage. Sacrificial Steel so you crit a lot because that's important. Prime Fever Strike for your toxin. Shock and Touch for your electricity. This will make your corrosive. Justice Blades for the 100% extra melee damage. This is important. The Scanna also has one like this as well, so get that. And then Spoiled Strike on here for an extra 100 damage. You can replace Spoiled Strike for another element if you like. If you don't want to use Spoiled Strike, that's totally fine, because you want your melee weapons to be usable instead of just, you know, being like a stat stick for your one. That's totally fine as well. So just replace this for a 90% fire mod, right? So that would just slot there. But other than that, it's more or less the exact same build on the Scanna, right? Let's see. I don't have a good Riven for my Scanna yet, but like I said, you know, having a Riven for the Scanna, it's got a 4 disposition, so if you get that melee damage, that crit damage, that element, and that negative, it's going to be higher stats than the Dual Cleaver. And the reason we're using the Dual Cleaver or the Scanna is because we have these Syndicate mods, which gives us 100% extra damage, which just means more damage on your one, right? So the idea behind this is we're going to be using our 2, and then we're going to be using our 1. We use our 2 because it gives us a damage bonus to our 1, okay? So let me just go ahead and re-equip the Dual Cleavers here. Okay, and the Riven that I'm using right now, it gives me critical damage and melee damage. So, yeah, let's just kind of dive into it. So, take a look at this, the abilities. So, send enemies reeling with a deafening whip crack. So that deals 879 damage at base, and then bind a hapless target in living metal, entangling others who stray too close. Whip Claw will refresh the trap, allowing it to capture more enemies. So your first ability resets the duration, which is why I neglected duration on the build, right? Which is awesome. Venari, you have your speed multiplier, your health per second, snare damage, etc., which is pretty high, so you have 1000 damage right there. Then you have your Strangle Dome, which covers a radius of 7 meters. It has a grab radius of 14 meters and a damage per second of 732 with a duration of 8 seconds. So the energy cost is actually pretty low. 16 energy, which is good, and snare's pretty free. It used to be a lot higher. It used to be about 20 energy or so. But yeah, it's pretty decent for what it is right now. So 531 total energy. Let's go ahead and spawn in some heavy gunners right here. We're not going to pause them because if we pause them, we'll get a stealth bonus. And let's see how fast we kill them. So, number 1, use your 2. Let them all get bind together. And look at the damage that we're dealing. It's pretty good. Not gonna lie. But it takes so much effort to get to that point. Which is what I want to drill to home to people. Like, it takes so long before you're able to deal this amount of damage. Imagine that you're a new player. You don't have Kuva, you don't have Platinum, you don't have Endo, you don't have Forma. How much Endo have I invested? Or not Endo, sorry. How much Forma have I invested into Khora, Fenari, my Prisma Jewel Cleavers? How much Kuva have I invested into my Riven? These are all things you have to take into consideration whenever it comes to recommending a frame. And with that amount of effort to get to that point where I can, you know, I'm not one-shotting. Like, Atlas kills them a lot faster, you know? I'm not one-shotting them. I'm killing them pretty quickly. You know, they're dying really fast, but it just takes so much effort. So let's just go ahead and cast Fenari. Use our 2, use our 1, use our 4, and then strangle them up, which is pretty cool as well. They die relatively fast, you know? Relatively fast. She's a pretty good frame. It's just the amount of effort that it takes to get to this point, in my opinion, is pretty harsh. You know, it's pretty harsh on a new player who wants to play Khora. So if you want to get into playing Khora, get ready for a pretty significant investment into, you know, getting to the point where you're able to deal lots of damage with her and use her kind of at those high level missions, you know? So it's a shit ton of work. Whether or not it's worth it is down to how much you enjoy playing Khora as a player. I personally enjoy it. You know, I like having 2 Strangle Domes up to kind of hold down choke points, right? So I'm going to like place these at doorways, and then I'm going to use my 2 and my 1 to hold down the final doorway, which isn't like covered by a Strangle Dome, right? So the only thing is you have to be super active with keeping those Strangle Domes up to kind of make it like hold down that doorway effectively. So it's all about kind of spamming your Strangle Dome and making sure that they're up at all time, and then spamming your 2 and just whipping the shit out of enemies, you know? It's literally BDSM frames, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of Khora and the builds that I just showed you in the comment section below. I'm still not a fan of her. Like, I like the frame, but I just can't recommend her to people because of, like, that Endo grind, that Kuva grind, that Forma grind, all that stuff. The amount of stuff that you have to put into this frame to make her this good, kind of overwhelming whenever you compare it to the likes of Atlas or something, you know, like Atlas Gara, etc., who have pseudo exalteds. Or if you want to, you know, go be that guy and compare her to Mesa, even though I think that's ridiculous, you know, Mesa just shreds everything, and you need like what, 3-4 Forma, you know? So I don't know. It's really down to you guys whether or not you think it's worth it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.